Down on the calls right now. Postgame show. Crimson Tide getting the win there over Mississippi State, improving to 6-0 on Saban's 69th birthday. A lot to talk about, a lot to get into, kind of a lot to discuss here on the show in regards to the Crimson Tide. And we want you guys being a part of the conversation. What you do here is you call 205-448-1358. And I'm going to get in right now to let your voice be heard on the post-game show. 205-448-1358. And one more time, 205-448-1358. Call the number right now to get involved on the post-game show with yours truly, Stephen M. Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Crimson Tide getting that 41-0 shutout victory over Mississippi State and one Mike Leach. And well, first and foremost, offensively, Alabama not as crisp as it has usually been this season. To start off the fourth quarter, there were some moments where Mac Jones and the receivers not necessarily on the same page. There were some dropped passes in a couple of spots there, including 2 drops from Devonta Smith, and that's unlike Smitty to drop footballs. But while the offense didn't really click the way we have normally seen it click throughout the season, Alabama was still able to push forward. This was not one of Mac Jones' better games, but still the young man completed 24 for 31 passes for 291 yards, 4 touchdowns, no turnovers, still kept it clean, despite the fact that probably didn't have a game that he would like to have. Offensively, Alabama kind of left some points there on the scoreboard. Coach Saban will be going over with his team, with his offense about this going into the bye week. But all in all, Alabama did have success there offensively. Mac Jones, as I mentioned, 24 for 31 passing, 291 yards, and 4 touchdowns. Najee Harris of the game. Najee Harris continues to churn those rushing yards, continues to churn those yards from scrimmage. His 5th game where he had over 100 yards from scrimmage. His 3rd game where he had over 100 rushing yards. Najee Harris, 21 carries for 119 yards, and he has officially joined the 3,000-yard club. How about Najee Harris officially a part of the 3,000-yard club, 3,091 career rushing yards. He is 8th all-time in Alabama history. Ahead of him, you've got Trent Richardson, number 7, Mark Ingram, number 6, T.J. Yeldon, number 5, Kenneth Darby, that's a throwback name right there, number 4, Bobby Humphrey, number 3, Sean Sweet Feet Alexander, number 2, and at number 1, the king, Derrick Henry, the Heisman winner from the 2015 season, at number 1. So a pretty prestigious list here ahead of Najee, but Harris, the other senior from California, in the top 10 at number 8 all-time as he has joined that 3,000-yard rushing club, 3,091 yards. He is still alive, believe it or not. He needs 500 more yards to tie Derrick Henry. 500 more yards. With Alabama having 4 games left in the regular season, maybe 5 if you count the SEC championship game, maybe 7 if you count the college football playoff. So there's still an opportunity for Derrick Henry to maybe even chase and tie. Well, it's a chance for Najee Harris, to maybe even chase, Derrick Henry and tie the rushing yard record there. Najee Harris, in terms of rushing touchdowns, he's at 34, and he's tied with Johnny Musso for 6th all-time, so that's Najee Harris. When you look at Trey Sanders, it was a big day for Trey, the redshirt freshman, and this was a guy that you as Alabama fans have been waiting for to see step up, rise up, emerge, play big-time football, and Trey Sanders, a big game for him as well, as he ran hard, especially in that fourth quarter, 12 carries for 80 yards for Trey Sanders. Could have had a touchdown, but was taken away from him. But going down the line here, we got Devonta Smith. Devonta Smith did his thing tonight. 11 catches for 203 yards and 4 touchdowns. But before we continue, look at the stat line right here. We take a phone call tonight on the post-game show. You're live on the post-game show with yours truly, Stephen M. Smith. What's going on? Live on the post-game show, caller. You're live on the post-game show. We definitely encourage that caller to call back. Once again, 205-448-1358 for number to call in to get on the post-game show with yours truly, Stephen M. Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine, 205-448-1358 here. But continuing the conversation of kind of a stat roundup here, Devonta Smith, 11 catches, 203 yards receiving, 4 touchdowns. He and Mac Jones got it going as the game continued. But for Devonta, now we go back to the phone lines here. We can take a call right now. You're live on the post-game show with yours truly, Stephen M. Smith. What's going on?
What's going on, Stephen? It's Justin Riley, man. Glad to be with you after a big victory.
Absolutely, Justin. Glad to have you on here, man. How did you feel like the game went to you?
Well, to be honest with you, I was very impressed with the defense. Out of anything I saw tonight, the defense looked incredible. It looked like the Alabama of old, at least for tonight. And, man, wow, Malachi Moore was just laying the wood. And I was just really impressed with the youngster. Just another game where he was absolutely solid. And something that really stood out to me, man, there were very few, if any, missed tackles.
That was the big thing. Alabama was able to concentrate on wrapping up, making tackles in space, really breaking down, not allowing the yards after catch, the yards after contact. So Bama really paid attention in the tackling drill over the week in practice. I was proud of that. But you mentioned Malachi Moore, but not just him, Justin. Malachi Moore, Brian Branch, Will Anderson, Tim Smith. There are some dogs on this defense, and they're all freshmen. This 2020 group of freshmen for Alabama, just straight dogs. And those guys played a huge role in shutting out the most unorthodox of coaches in college football, that being one Mike Leach. This is the first time in Leach's coaching career he has been shut out, and this Alabama defense led by a lot of these freshmen played their butts off.
No, absolutely. And you said this a few days ago on one of your shows that these freshmen, they mean business. And they're going to push everybody out of the way if they're not willing to jump on board, and they're going to do it themselves. And it looks like they are doing it. And the combination of Moore and Branch is just absolutely amazing. And the thing is, we get at least 3 more years of it. And I'm looking forward to what the future holds with those two.
Absolutely, and I was waiting on to see at what point would Coach Saban go to more sort of a dime package where we could see more of Brian Branch out there. He chose to unveil it tonight against Mississippi State. Branch, the young man from Sandy Creek High School in Tyrone, Georgia, a highly athletic highlight safety, ended his high school career as the all-time leader for interceptions for Sandy Creek High School. So we knew the young man had talent. We were just waiting for at what moment would Coach Saban unveil more of that dime package, get him on the field, let's see what he can really do, roaming that secondary, making big plays. Could have had him a couple of interceptions if he would have timed this jump just a little bit quicker. But the young man is growing. He's going to have a very great career here. But Justin, as always, man, we appreciate the call, man. Keep listening to the post-game show, buddy.
Always, man. Thank you. Roll Tide.
Absolutely. We got the post-game show here, folks. Post-game show following Alabama, Mississippi State, live here in Tuscaloosa with your man, Stephen M. Smith, and my boy here, P-Money, Patrick Dow, handling the phone calls here. We take a call right now. You are live on the post-game show with yours truly, Stephen M. Smith. What's going on?
What's up, Stephen? It's Kenneth, man. How you doing?
Kenneth, what's going on with you? I'm doing good.
All right, man. Good game tonight, good game. I'm pretty satisfied from what we saw tonight. But one thing that wonders me is Dylan Moses' confidence right now. Do you think he's confident right now in the way that he's playing?
Right now, I'm waiting for when are we going to see that Dylan Moses type game, right? That game where we all kind of knew or we all wanted to see coming into the season. I remember back in fall camp, Nick Saban told Dylan Moses, "You are not hurt anymore. Cut it loose. Play the way we know you're capable of playing." And against Missouri, we saw him cut it loose a little bit in that game. But ever since the Missouri game, we have not seen the confident Dylan Moses that we were so used to seeing prior to the injury. So I don't know what the deal is. I don't know if he's still kind of thinking about the injury he had. I don't know if he's trying to save himself for a draft stock. I don't know what the case is with Dylan. I'm going to find out. I don't know what the case is with Dylan, but right now, just not fully playing like the guy we were expecting to see coming off the injury.
And I can understand his tenderness, to go full throttle. I mean, when you suffer an injury like that, I'm sure it goes through his mind. Because, on the play where the quarterback got past somebody, that's a play Dylan Moses usually make before pre-injury. So I just wanted your thoughts on that. Hopefully he can get it together, take it back. Because Christian Harris is flying off the ball. Christian Harris is making plays.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt.
You need Dylan to get back on track.
Not only Christian Harris, Kenneth, but Christopher Allen has emerged. And this was somebody that came in 2017 as a four-star outside linebacker from Baton Rouge. He had some injury issues in his past, but Christopher Allen's back healthy. And the last few games, see, Allen has started to say, "Hey, I'm here right now."
Yeah, I'm just upset that Ben Davis couldn't get it together this season either. I'm just upset at that.
I mean, you and me both, man. I mean, I was told the whole summer that, Ben has locked into this spot. Ben is doing his thing, and out of nowhere, I guess, the last 2 weeks of fall camp, Will Anderson came out of nowhere and just said, "You know what, my time is now," and just took it right from Ben. But it is what it is. Kenneth, man, we appreciate the call, though.
Talk to you on Monday.
Absolutely. Post-game show, folks. Post-game show here, Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Yours truly, Stephen M. Smith, 205-448-1358. But I'm going to call in to let your voice be heard here on the post-game show following the 41-0 shutout victory for Alabama over Mississippi State and one Mike Leach. Devonta Smith, just a moment here. Smitty, 31 career touchdown receptions. He is now tied for first all-time with Amari Cooper. Boy, Coop is somewhere in the NFL going, "My record's going down." Devonta Smith now tied first all-time with Amari Cooper for career touchdown receptions. He is now fifth all-time for career receptions with 174. Well, with 174, he is trying to chase now Julio Jones to get even more on the list there, but fifth all-time for Smitty there for career receptions. Also, he is third all-time for career receiving yards, 2,868. So Devonta Smith doing his thing there for the Crimson Tide. Defensive leaders from the game, we've talked about it. Malachi Moore is a stud. Malachi Moore is a mixture of Minkah Fitzpatrick and George Teague. I'm calling it right now. He's a mixture of Minkah and George Teague. That's one Malachi Moore. Led the team in tackles with 8, had 1 tackle for loss, 2 pass breakups. The young man Brian Branch, not to be outdone, 7 total tackles, including half a tackle for loss, 2 pass breakups. Will Anderson's getting so close to that first sack, the young man can basically taste it. But Will Anderson in this game, affected the quarterback, 5 tackles, 2 tackles for loss, had 2 quarterback hurries, was flying all around the field. Will Anderson had a big game tonight. And then, of course, the likes of Tim Smith and Jamil Burroughs. Tim Smith not only tackled the running back, but he forced a fumble and recovered the fumble. And then Jamil Burroughs out there playing great football, as well. So the freshmen are dogs out here. The freshmen on defense, straight up automatic dogs. Like, people are excited about what Alabama's going to look to bring in the 2021 recruiting class, and I'm excited for that myself, provided all these guys sign on the dotted line. But you mix those potential freshmen with these guys that are freshmen now that will be sophomores next season, oh, Jesus, that defense is going to be unbelievably scary. Coach Saban also had some injuries after the game that he wanted to update. Malachi Moore had a slight stinger during the game, but he's okay. Also, Marcus Banks, the corner, did not play. He was in street clothes. He's battling a slight hamstring, but Marcus Banks will be okay. Miller Forrestal got a bit dinged up, but still played in the game. That dude's an absolute warrior. Brian Robinson still a bit nicked up from last week. Let's see here. LeBron Ray did not play in this game due to an elbow. He's missed his second consecutive or third straight game, if not the third straight game. They're looking to have him back after the bye week. Fedarian Mathis got a bit dinged up as well. So a couple of guys with some bumps and bruises here, from the matchup against Mississippi State in previous matchups, but this bye week comes at the perfect time. We go to a call right now. We take a call right now on the post-game show, Touchdown, Alabama Magazine. You're live with Stephen M. Smith. What's going on?
Stephen M. Smith, great to hear from you, sir. Great show tonight, sir.
Absolutely. Appreciate you calling in there, Spencer. What were you excited about the most tonight, and what do you want to see continue to get cleaned up a bit here?
Well, actually, what I was most excited about was our defensive back play. They did do a lot better job today. Now, there should have been some calls that was not called, but they did do a better job tonight. I'll give them that. They stayed one-on-one. They did a great job. Defensive line did a better push, and we did blitzes from different angles than we normally do out of a set. So I was real pleased with that.
I was proud of the push the defensive line got, absolutely. I was proud of the play by the defensive backs. I mean, wrapping up. That was some of the best tackling all season. And finally, Coach Saban was able to get this group to understand the importance of you got to wrap up and tackle against everybody, not just a Mike Leach ran offense. So I'm proud to see this group was able to tackle against a Mike Leach ran offense, Mike Leach coached offense, but being able to wrap up and tackle against every team that you play against. So a much better tackling effort, a much better defensive front effort, and I know Coach Saban will get on these guys about these penalties. 10 penalties, very unacceptable for Coach Saban on his birthday, but the 69-year-old was happy with the win.
I agree with that totally, sir. You're totally right. But now let me kick off on the offense a little bit here. Mac Jones, very pleased with him. I saw him get a little flustered there, but he picked it back up. His balls are right on the money. I got a lot of positive to say about him. But our 5-star Mr. Bryce Young, he needs time to grow in the system. He's got to let the game slow down to him. And my biggest question to you, once again, where is Paul Tyson in all this?
That is, once again, my biggest thing as well. I know people want to see Bryce Young out there on the field, but people also need to be able to see Paul Tyson just as much as they want to see Bryce Young. And Paul Tyson, once again, a guy that came out of high school, Hewitt-Trustfield, was big-time quarterback, 69 touchdowns, just 13 picks. He's got an incredible arm, and I'm one of the guys wondering, okay, when are we going to see a situation where we can get Paul some reps in here? So I'm wondering the same thing, Spencer, but going back to what you mentioned on Mac Jones, it was kind of a tough start there for him. I know Mississippi State has a better defense at times, what people give it credit for. Coach Saban mentioned in the post game that this was going to be a situation where Mac was going to have to use some checkdowns at times. The Bulldogs were not going to allow the deep ball routes, and when, of course, Mac saw that, he went to more of those checkdowns, but he still took the opportunities when they were there. So not the greatest performance from Mac, but he still put up, 4 touchdowns, nearly 300 yards passing, so you can't be too upset. But I'm like you. I mean, I want to see some of these young guys get in here, let the game come to them, and for some reason, we have got to get Paul Tyson on this field.
Real quick, and I'll stop on this one. do you think after this, if he wins the Heisman or not, he's putting up Heisman numbers. His Mac 10 is doing a Heisman year. Do you think he will stay next year? Do you think he'll go to the NFL?
I think he goes. I think if he ends up going to New York for this Heisman and or getting the trophy while at New York, I think he goes to the NFL. I think he goes. There's a lot of draft boards right now that are considering him either not, if not early second round, late first round in there. So I think Mac will end up going to the NFL draft.
Well, thank you so much, sir. I appreciate it. Another great show tonight, man. You're awesome. Thank you so much.
Appreciate the love there coming from our own Spencer Revley calling into the postgame show. Once again, folks, this is the postgame show. Call in right now, 205-448-1358. We take another call right now. You're live on the postgame show with your man, Stephen M. Smith and P-Money. Patrick Dow, what's going on?
Hello?
You're live on the postgame show with Stephen M. Smith. What's going on? You're live on the show, caller.
Hey, Stephen.
What's going on?
I just want to start out with saying happy birthday to Nick Saban.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Greatest coach in college football. Very blessed to have him. I want to say seeing Jalen Waddle on the sidelines tonight, that was a sad sight. But I want to give a shout out to my guy. You know, he's on the road to recovery, and I hope next year he comes back. But, if they take him late in the NFL draft, I want him to come back, improve his stock, and put those numbers up that we know he can. But straight up, Stephen, I just want to tell you, bro, I watch your show week in and week out. You are the bomb, brother.
Appreciate the support, man. Really do appreciate the support right now. Really do.
I love the show. I've watched the Talking Vols show. I've watched Georgia's. Bro, nobody has the enthusiasm that Stephen M. Smith has, and I love it. I freaking love it. I'm from Memphis, Tennessee, calling in. I'm a diehard Bama fan. Slade Bolden is doing it. You hear me? But I'm going to tell you, a big shout out to John Mechie. That guy right there is special. Smitty, there is no doubt. There are no better hands in college football today. I'm going to tell you, Smitty's doing Smitty, but, I'm glad to see guys like Bolden and Mechie stepping up, especially with Waddle going down. And that idiot last week that said that, we're done is just plumb out an idiot. I mean, if he thinks we're not fully loaded at our wide receiver position, he don't even watch college football.
Well, you look at.
I'm not going to take a. Go ahead, sir. No, you do it. I'm on here with you.
I mean, what I was saying, when you look at one David Pollack, who's a Georgia alum and now with ESPN, college football game day. I mean, I understand how huge Jalen Waddle is, but if I've said this once, I've said this maybe over 1,000 times. You can go to the bank and draft a fresh cash deposit off this. Nick Saban recruits nothing but studs at 4 different positions, and that's running back, wide receiver, defensive back, and linebacker. And he recruits them for moments just like these. You hate it for when your opportunity has to come at the expense of somebody getting hurt. No one likes their opportunity to come at the expense of somebody getting hurt, but you can never control where your chances come. You have to take them as they come. And for Slade Bolden and Javon Baker and other guys that are trying to step up, here's an opportunity for them, and they look to take full advantage of it. But my man from Memphis, we appreciate you calling in, man. Keep listening to the show.
Hey, Chuck, your cousin is our analyst for us on our recruiting. Love him. Hey, man, y'all keep doing y'all and roll tide.
Absolutely, absolutely, people. Post-game show with the man Stephen M. Smith and Patrick Dowd. Call in right now. We take a call right now as we speak. You're live on the post-game show with yours truly, Stephen M. Smith. What's going on? Live on the post-game show, caller. Well, we encourage that caller to definitely call back. We have another call coming in right now. You're live on the post-game show with Stephen M. Smith. What's going on? Live on the show, caller. What's going on? Definitely encourage you guys to call back here, 205-448-1358. The number to call in to let your voice be heard on the show, 205-448-1358. We take a call right here. You're live on the post-game show. What's going on? Live on the post-game show, caller.
What's up, Steve?
Doing good, and yourself?
Oh, man. Calling out of Memphis, Tennessee, originally from Mobile, Alabama, Roll Tide.
How we feeling right now?
Man, I'm really impressed with the defense. I think they really put on a good show tonight. I think they did it for Saban's birthday. Also, happy birthday, Saban.
Absolutely. I feel like the defense has really made big improvements since the Ole Miss game. I know the Ole Miss game was an embarrassing performance, but since then, Pete Golden and this group have really sort of turned it around, and especially when you were able to shut out a Mike Leach coach team, that's a big deal.
Right. I also thought out Trey Sanders. He really impressed me tonight, too. A lot of people didn't really talk about it, but he got a big future ahead of him.
Absolutely. I mean, and Trey Sanders, this was somebody that came in as a 5-star in the 2019 class from Florida, from IMG, and he got hurt. If he did not get hurt in August camp, he would have taken some carries away from Najee Harris and Brian Robinson. So to finally see him healthy and to finally see him in that fourth quarter rip off some huge runs, he got a touchdown taken away from him, unfortunately. But to see him rip off those runs in the fourth quarter, very happy for Trey Sanders.
Right. My only concern is how do you think we match up with Ohio State and Clemson? We meet up with them in the playoffs. I know that's further down the road, but I just want to understand what you think.
Right now, I feel like Alabama has still got to do a bit more improving defensively if you're talking about matchup of Clemson, because by the playoff, you're going to have Trevor Lawrence and that team at full strength offensively. Well, without, Justin Ross, but still a darn good team offensively. So I want to see Alabama continue to clean up a bit more defensively before we talk about Clemson, before we talk about Ohio State, because both of those two teams bring monster offenses and big-time quarterbacks to the table. So I want to see a bit more work done for this Alabama defense.
I agree with that, man. I appreciate you bringing me on tonight. We appreciate everything that you do on the show and updated on everything.
Absolutely, man. Appreciate the call. Absolutely. My man calling in from Mississippi there, giving us some love here on the post-game show. But once again, people, this is the post-game show. Touchdown, Alabama Magazine. Bama getting the 41-0 win over Mississippi State. As we take a call right now, you're live on the post-game show. What's going on?
Hey, how you doing?
Doing fantastic yourself.
I'm doing great. Hey, Steven, I got a question for you. The next time that you talk to Nick Saban, could you ask him a question? Could he use that defensive rotation he used on the defensive line more than the one he's been using in the past with DJ Dale and Eboji? Because that defensive line tonight really did an impressive job on pass rush and on the run game. And I like how they came off the ball and really pushed the middle.
Oh, most definitely, and that was the group of Barmore with Byron Young in there, and I remember talking to Coach Saban earlier this week about Byron Young, and this is a dude that's got tremendous energy, great mobility, drops some weight. He is a nasty, nasty player on that D-line. And I understand Alabama wants to have LeBron Ray back at some point, more than likely after the bye week. But you got to continue to play Byron Young. You got to continue to play Christian Barmore, especially with the way those two have been coming on down the stretch. So absolutely, we'll get that thought over to Coach Saban, most definitely.
And also Tim Smith. Don't forget about him, because Tim Smith had a
he's
real
a dog.
He's
a dog. He's a dog, and Jamil Burrows. Both of those two are dogs.
Yeah. Appreciate that.
Most definitely, man. We appreciate the call, man. Keep listening to us.
All right.
We got the post-game show going for you, ladies and gentlemen. Alabama getting the 41-0 shutout victory over Mississippi State. We want to hear from you. 205-448-1358. What did you like about the game? What needs to be cleaned up? 205-448-1358. But I'm going to call in to let your voice be heard here on the post-game show. 205-448-1358. And just like kind of as I mentioned, offensively for Alabama, it started off a bit slow, but Mac Jones and the receivers got it going. A strong game from Najee Harris, a strong game from Devonta Smith. We got to see Trey Sanders, of whom 12 carries for 80 yards. Defensively, the freshmen straight up dogs, making big-time plays. Alabama got 3 turnovers, forced 3 turnovers in this game, and ever since the Ole Miss game, P Money, write this down, P. Ever since the Ole Miss game, P, I think Alabama has shut opponents off the scoreboard in a combined 8 quarters. 8 quarters now for this defense. Full game shutout against Mississippi State. It shut out Georgia in the second half of that game. So that's 6. It shut off Tennessee in the first quarter and the fourth quarter. So that's 8 combined quarters. Alabama's defense has held opponents off the scoreboard. So this defense really starting to make that turn to the positive side here. It's really starting to take that turn next level here. And it's the play of course, Christian Harris doing his thing, Christopher Allen stepping up, guys in the defensive line playing well, secondary making tackles, but the freshmen in that secondary, Brian Branch and Malachi Moore, I mean, those two, sweet Jesus, those two playing some big-time football. It's going to be awesome seeing how they continue to develop and grow as players. Will Reichert continue to do his thing from the kicking aspect. I mean, Will Reichert now, what is he, 8 for 8? A perfect 8 for 8 on field goals. Even made a 40-plus yarder. And in the matchup, his first make from 40-plus yards this season. So, Reichert's making them from 20 to 29 yards, 30 to 39 yards, 40 to 49 yards, even 50-plus yards. I mean, can we go Will Reichert for Heisman? I mean, is that a category? Can we say Will Reichert for Heisman? I mean, I know we got Mac Jones for Heisman and Smitty from Biletnikoff / Heisman and, Najee Harris for Heisman. But can we go Will Reichert for Groza / Heisman? Can we get that campaign started? I mean, call in 205-448-1358. 205-448-1358. Can we do Will Reichert for Groza / Heisman? Just a thought right there. But got to shout out our own Spencer Reveley for donating that $5. We have a super chats here on the post-game show. Appreciate that love there coming from Spencer Reveley, donating that $5 in here. We have a super chats for the post-game show. But as y'all continue to get your thoughts in here, 205. We got a call right now. We'll take a call right now on the post-game show. You're live with Stephen M. Smith. What's going on?
Hey, Stephen, sorry I had to call back one more time. I didn't get to finish last time, so I want to bring this up one more time. What is your thoughts on the importance of how Will Reichert is kicking right now?
It's huge, and that's another thought that I brought to Coach Saban after the Tennessee game. Just talking about how big it is to have Will Reichert healthy out there, mentally locked in and making the kicks that he's making. Coach Saban's response was, it's highly comforting when you can have a guy that even though your drive stalls offensively, you couldn't get the touchdown you wanted, you can go out there and have a guy that can knock in a field goal, that can make 3 points automatically. This is a big deal. And for the longest of time, Alabama fans, you guys have suffered with having to drink and cuss and say swear words and say any type of thing to deal with the pain of not having the consistent kicker. And now finally, you don't have to go through all of those rituals anymore because Will Reichert is out there consistently making these field goals. And so it's huge when you have a young man out there booting the ball the way he's doing it.
I have to agree totally, sir. I'm not over burning my football yet. I'm still waiting. I need a couple more games under me. I'm still not totally sold, but it's the best it's been for a while, and my wife is happy that I'm not burning footballs anymore. I'm very pleased with Will. I just needed your input. Thank you so much, sir.
Absolutely. I mean, Reichert's having a good year. And then I remember, he told our own Justin Smith, the lead scouting and recruiting analyst for TDA, at the Alabama-Mississippi All-Star game, he said he was going to be the one to fix the kicking woes. And right now, Will Reichert is doing that. He's become the most consistent leg Bama's had right now since Jeremy Shelley back in 2012. So very happy to have the success here of Reichert. But Spencer, as always, my man, we appreciate the call.
Thank you, sir. And if you get a chance, kind of find out about why our local punter's not punting. We had a couple of issues tonight on the yardage on punting. So if you can find that out and let us know on Monday, it'd be great.
Absolutely. We'll be looking to put that APB out there on Top P. Ryan. Where is P. Ryan? Why is he not out there on the field, punting, handling kickoffs, doing something in regards to special teams? But, folks, this is the post-game show. Alabama getting the 41-0 shutout victory over Mississippi State tonight, improving to 6-0 on the year, getting the win on Coach Saban's birthday, his 69th birthday. So Coach Saban enjoying that win. He still got his butt chewing out, though. Coach Saban still got his butt chewing out, though. He, Tim Smith, the freshman, jumped off sides on a play, and, Coach Saban gave him an earful there. So, for Tim Smith, first time for everything, my man. You get that butt chewing there from Coach Saban. But Tim Smith, he responded. Tim responded by getting that forced fumble there and recovering the fumble. So even when Coach Saban chews you out a little bit, Tim Smith, the freshman, able to bounce back with the tackle, the forced fumble, and the fumble recovery there for Alabama's defense. But, these freshmen are playing great ball here on the defensive side of the football. And the big thing here is trying to find a way to get Dylan Moses going. That's the big thing here. I'm not saying he's having a terrible year. It's not a terrible year, but at the same time, it's just not what we expected coming into the ball game, coming into the season. It is not what we expected, especially when he had his, sophomore campaign in 2018 where he led the team in tackles with 86, 10 tackles for loss, 3.5 sacks, was a finalist for the Butkus Award. And in 2019, of course, he got hurt, but we were looking forward to seeing just monster, big dog status from Dylan Moses. Have not, gotten that yet, but, thankfully so far other players have been stepping up. But we're going to go to a couple of these comments here on the YouTube chat line. Once again, 205-448-1358, the number to call in to let your voice be heard on the post-game show, 205-448-1358. Here's we're rolling through a couple of these comments. Ronnie Collier writes in, how about Patrick Surtain II's pick six? Absolutely. For Patrick Surtain II, Ronnie, it's about time. We were waiting for this type of a moment from him, and he's had a strong season. He has quietly put together a first-round pick type year. Surtain has. But we were waiting on when was that pick six going to finally happen for him. We've seen Daniel Wright get a pick six. We've seen Malachi Moore take a fumble return for a touchdown. So we were just waiting on when was that big defensive play going to come from when Patrick Surtain and Patty got it done tonight, getting that pick six. I know his father, Patrick Surtain Sr., very proud of that. But we take a call right now on the post-game show. You are live with Stephen M. Smith. What's going on tonight? Live on the post-game show, caller. What's going on? You are live on the post-game show, caller. We definitely encourage that caller to call back into the post-game show, 205-448-1358. But I'm going to call in to let your voice be heard right now, 205-448-1358. The number to call in to let your voice be heard with yours truly, Stephen M. Smith, and the man P-Money, Patrick Dowd, handling the calls right here. But going back to Ronnie Collier's thought, Surtain, big pick six there. We take the call now on the show. You're live on the post-game show with Stephen M. Smith. What's going on?
I guess probably my phone. I missed you there, Stephen. How you doing tonight? You doing all right?
Doing good, man. Can't complain here.
Well, I a lot of people's calling about P-Rod, what I call him P-Rod. Where's P-Rod at? I sort of been scratching my head a little bit on that, Stephen, thinking about it. Either he's got in trouble or maybe he done the opted out this year. Have you ever thought about that? He might have done that?
I don't think he opted out, and I know that he's not. He was on the field tonight. He has not opted out. I don't think he's in any trouble. And just to me, my thing has always been, how can a guy go from being, all SEC freshman team just a year ago as a freshman to not seeing time at all this season? So that's kind of the biggest perplexing thing right now. I mean, I know Saban's giving other guys some opportunities, but at the same time, this is the best punter on the team. So I'm wondering, you can't allow a leg of that type of talent to go to waste. I know he hasn't opted out. He was on the field tonight. I don't think he's in any type of trouble at all. My thing is, what's keeping him from being on the field? Because obviously, he's the best punter in that room.
Well, I'm like you then. I'm totally confused because I didn't really pay attention. I didn't see him tonight, but I know you there. So if you say he's there, he's there. So I don't have no doubt about that. Not in trouble. So I don't know, Stephen. You'll just have to get down there and do a little investigation work next week, you and Justin, and dig up and see what's going on there and let us know what's going on with P-Rod there, because I'm like you. He was booting that ball last year. I'll tell you what, it looked mighty good.
It did. So I'm gonna put on my Magnum PI hat, and now we're gonna work on Monday.
All right, sounds good. And I just thought I'd give you a holler there. Y'all sounding good tonight, you and P-Money. Spencer, everybody in the chat, everybody's looking good. We see everybody on Monday. Y'all have a good Sunday. Bye-bye, Stephen.
Appreciate the love that coming from our own Waylon Colburn calling in tonight, talking about one Ty Perine. And he's not hurt. He's out there on the field. He's not opted out. This is the biggest confusion right now because, to me, once again, I don't get it. Like, how do you go from being all SEC freshman team to not even seeing the field playing? I mean, this is a leg that you cannot have go to waste. I mean, whether he has to punt, whether he has to handle kickoffs, you got to get Ty Perine on the field. You got to get this young man on the field. You got to get Ty Perine on the field. Absolutely. No doubt about that. But I was proud of Patrick Surtain tonight. I was proud of Devonta Smith tonight, his performance. I was proud to see Trey Sanders on the field. I know, Nick Saban wants to continue to get more reps for Bryce Young and try to get him more comfortable and confident into the football game. But at the same time, I do also want to see at some point Paul Tyson get on this field and show what he can do. There was some penalties there by the offensive line tonight, and Bama's got to clean that up, especially You had some false starts there from Deontay Cornbread Brown and some false starts there from Alex Leatherwood. And in my mind, I'm like, please do not let this be the ghost of Leon Brown out here on the field. But we had a couple of Alabama had a couple of false starts out there, but Coach Saban will get that cleaned up and squared away. But happy about the pass protection at the line provided for Mac Jones and the running game that the line provided for Najee Harris and also Trey Sanders. But 205-448-1358 for them to call in to join in on the post-game show. And we got a call coming in right now. You're live on the post-game show with Stephen M. Smith. What's on your mind?
Bird.
What's going on?
I got the wrong number.
You got got the wrong number. It's okay. It's okay. Call into the post-game show, 205-448-1358. Got with the wrong number there, 205-448-1358. 205-448-1358. They're the number to call in to let your voice be heard here on the post-game show. We actually got a little news here coming from our own Ronnie Collier in the chat line as he writes in, breaking news, Georgia defensive back Richard LeCount was involved in a traffic accident. So definitely thoughts and prayers out to Richard LeCount there and his family. Hopefully everything is okay with that young man. Really, really good football player there. Hopefully everything's okay with Richard LeCount, but that comes from our own Ronnie Collier writing that into the chat line here, involving one Georgia defensive back, Richard LeCount, there involved in a little traffic accident there. So big time our thoughts and prayers out to him and his family. But also be sure to call into the show, 205-448-1358. But I'm going to call in to let your voice be heard on the post-game show, 205-448-1358. And one more time, 205-448-1358. We take a call here. You're live on the post-game show with Stephen M. Smith. What's going on tonight?
Roll Top.
How we feeling tonight?
Roll Top all day, baby. Roll Top.
Absolutely. Bama got that win. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah, roll. Hey, dog, bro.
I think we lost him. Try to call back in. Try to call back in here. 205-448-1358. I'm going to call in again on the post-game show, 205-448-1358. I think we lost that caller there. He started off on fire. Was giving us a lot of juice there, but I believe we lost that particular caller there. But as you guys are continuing to get your thoughts in, 205-448-1358. We'll look at a couple of these comments. Connor Heath writes in, the ghost of Leon Brown. That's funny. Look, man, I remember when Leon Brown played at Alabama on the offensive line. Leon Brown was good for 2 false starts a game. He was due for that. Leon Brown was due for 2 false starts a game. So, yeah, definitely, Leon Brown there. But, in this game here, Alabama had some penalties there. A lot of those were, of the false start variety on the offensive line. So that's where my whole Leon Brown thing came in at there. But we'll take some more go to some more questions here in the chat line. I saw an LSU question here earlier. Here, let's see here. There we go. Ronnie Collier again writes in, what y'all think about Auburn handling LSU an old-fashioned whipping today? Well, going back to LSU, this is what happens when you lose 14 to 16 players to the draft and some to opt-outs. You lose 2 really great coaches in Dave Aranda and Joe Brady. This is what happens when you lose all of these guys and people expect you to just reload, but you've never been put in that situation as LSU to reload, and this is unfortunately what happens. And now you look at Ed Ogeron That's like, my goodness, I wish I could have Joe Burrow back. I wish I could have Clyde Edwards-Helaire and Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase and not Terrace Marshall, but Thaddeus Moss. I wish I could have those guys back, but those guys are long gone. So this is what happens when you lose so many guys to the next level and to opt-outs, and you can't quite reload the way you thought you would be able to. But we take a call right now. You're live on the post-game show with yours truly, Stephen M. Smith. What's going on?
So this up, bro.
What's going on?
Alabama sucks. That's all I gotta say.
Wow. So appreciate the call right there with the Alabama suck call right there. So wow, you know you're getting big in the world when you get random calls like that. But we appreciate the calls coming in. We got another call in the queue right now. You're live on the post game show. What's going on?
Hey Steven, this is Jeff from Buffalo, man. How are you doing?
Doing good, man. Doing pretty good. And yourself?
I'm doing all right, man. I'm enjoying this Alabama victory. I'm ecstatic about this defense. Really, really excited what they were able to do. And again, was this against a top quality type of offense? No, but the improvement is definitely there, and I think Bama fans should definitely be excited about it.
No question about it. And the two things I was the most proud of, aside from the shutout, though the shutout was big, number one, a consistent push from the defensive line. Byron Young, Christian Barmore, Jamil Burrows, Tim Smith, those guys got after it. Those guys got after it on that defensive line. And then the play of the defensive secondary wrapping up and making tackles. For the first time this season, I saw crisp, fundamentally sound tackles. So Coach Saban really got his point across in the tackle drills this week prior to the game. So, I mean, is Pete Golding the guy moving forward? The jury's kind of still out, but we are seeing some major improvements being made on the defensive side of the ball, and fans are happy about that.
Yeah, and, playing against this type of team where, for the most part, we're going to be running particularly like a 3-8-3. We're going to have two deep, type of safeties. We know that the first thing we have to do is we got to take the vertical. We got to take the over the top. So they were going to be throwing it a lot of underneath throws, and we have to, capitalize and make those tackles. And this defense, not only were we wrapping up, we were hitting. I mean, almost every single tackle. It was a huge pop every single time, and it would be two or three of us every single time around the ball. You barely saw any whiffs. I mean, again, I might have to go back to the game and try to rewatch it and see, okay, was there any whiffs? But I hardly recognize it. So that's a phenomenal sign. The physicality was the most important part for me. Of course, us getting pressure from all different levels, whether if it was in the interior or whether if it was Will Anderson or Christopher Allen coming off the edge. The most important part was that it seems like for the first time that physicality was finally there for this Alabama team. And again, I think every team is going to offer you a challenge. Every team is going to offer you a challenge that you haven't seen before. I think this is the great thing about SEC conference play, and I actually think that we should be doing this every year. But the great thing about SEC conference play is the different challenges that every single team is going to present for you. This team is going to force you to make those open field tackles because they're going to be throwing a lot of underneath passes. LSU is a different type of team in about a couple of weeks that is more, they're very, very explosive. I do believe that they got some really, really nice offensive personnel that I think Bama hasn't seen before that I think will also test out, how good is this Alabama secondary. But the improvement that we've seen week from week, I think are the results of those different challenges that Alabama has faced every single week.
100% agree with that. 100% agree with that. And it's going to only continue to keep getting better as Alabama buys in defensively to what this coaching staff has it doing, especially in making tackles in space, in trying to affect the quarterback and creating those turnovers. But, my man, we appreciate the call. Keep listening to us.
Oh, yeah, for real, man, for real. You do a great job. You and Justin, a lot of those guys over there watch you guys almost every single day. I'll definitely call back in, though.
Absolutely, absolutely, folks. We're on the post-game show here with your man Stephen M. Smith, but it's not me. I'm the floating spirit. The real MVP is the man P Money. Patrick down here, P Money handling the phone calls tonight. That is the real trooper. I just float around here. He's the real superstar here in the room. But we got the post-game show, Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Bama getting the 41-0 win here over at Mississippi State, 205-448-1358. And I'm going to call in to let your thoughts be heard on the show, 205-448-1358 here. Another thought coming from Ronnie Collier. This is a locker drop thought from Ronnie Collier. Locker drop. Patrick Surtain II will be named as a Jim Thorpe Award finalist. I will lock that all the way in, Ronnie. I will lock that all the way in. I like Patrick Surtain's opportunity to be a Jim Thorpe Award finalist because he's having a solid year. He's given up only one touchdown on his side, and that was to Josh Palmer against Tennessee. And even on that play, I know he didn't get his hands on Palmer, but the way his body was positioned, he was trying to force Palmer to kind of the edge, so to speak. And, it was a better throw by the man, Jarrett Guarantano at quarterback, and sometimes you just, can't defend that. But at the end of the day, Patrick Surtain II having a first-round pick type of year, and I would lock that all the way in. Him definitely a finalist for the Jim Thorpe Award, so appreciate that locker drop there. A suggestion coming in from our own Ronnie Collier writing in here on the chat line. But just some thoughts here from me on the matchup against Mississippi State. It was a great win. It was a strong win. Offense was able to get it going as the game went on. Mac Jones was able to shake off some frustrations that he had earlier on in the game. Devonta Smith had a big-time performance after dropping some catches early. We saw the run game of Najee Harris, the run game of Trey Sanders. We saw the defense really pick it up, taking another step forward, forcing its first shutout of the season and shutting out a Mike Leach team for the first time in his respective coaching career. And this bye week, once again, it couldn't have come at a better time because you're getting some guys back healthy that have been a bit dinged up, whether it's Malachi Moore, who's got a stinger, Marcus Banks, who's got a hamstring, Miller Forrestall, Slade Bolden, Brian Robinson, who've all been a bit dinged up here, Brian Ray, who's been dealing with an elbow, Fadarian Mathis, who's been slightly dinged up. You've got some guys with some nicks and some bruises, so this bye week comes at the most opportune time to get these guys back healthy. My main thing, kind of like some of you guys out there, is getting the punting in order. Because while the field goal kicking has been exceptional, Will Reichert, 8 of 8 on kicking this year. He's made all of his extra points. Want to get that punting on a solid key. And though you've got Charlie Scott, who's the younger brother of the legend J.K. Scott, and though you have Sam Johnson, Todd Pirine is the best punter on this team. And at some point, you got to get that talented leg on the field and have him go to work. I don't care if it's punting the ball. I don't care if it's executing kickoffs. You got to find some type of way to get Todd Pirine's leg on that field, get him on there, get him involved, get him going here for the Crimson Tide as we come up down the stretch here of these important matchups, important ball games. But folks, that's gonna do it here. That's gonna do it here, folks, on the post-game show. Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Yours truly, Stephen M. Smith, here with the man P Money, Patrick Dowd. Appreciate everybody calling in, everybody texting in, everybody writing in, giving your thoughts, giving your passion, giving your energy. On Monday, we'll be back next week for In My Own Words. We'll be back next week. So next week, get the popcorn ready, get the juice ready, pop open a cold one, because we're coming back Monday, In My Own Words, coming back hot, 6 p.m. Central Time on YouTube. But for all of us here at Touchdown Alabama Magazine, I'm your man, Stephen M. Smith. for the good man P Money. This has been the post-game show. Alabama getting the 41-0 win over Mississippi State. Signing off right here. Good night, everybody.